InfoWarsLife.com to find this special and many others in the month of February. Again, InfoWarsLife.com or 888-253-3139. Used since before the days of the Roman Empire to support the body's natural systems and enhance overall health. Introducing the new InfoWarsLife.com oil of oregano formulation, a highly advanced nutraceutical form of this key herb that has been traditionally used by civilizations for thousands of years to promote health. We have now procured the most high quality and potent forms of oregano oil on the market, sourced from top leading manufacturers to ensure a concentrated level of bioactive ingredients. Extracted directly from the wild herb and sealed in easy-to-use capsules, you will no longer need to endure the burning of liquid oregano on the tongue. Wild crafted from the Mediterranean oregano species that experts agree is one of the most powerful and most challenging to acquire. This winter season, it's more important than ever to secure this true form of oil of oregano. Now available in our limited first run at InfoWarsLife.com. That's InfoWarsLife.com or call 888-253-3139.
The average person's life is filled with unexpected challenges. Unlock the energy it takes to defeat these daily beasts with Super Male or Super Female Vitality, specifically designed to assist the body in regulating proper hormone balance to create superior vitality in males and females. Supercharge and conquer your world at InfoWarsLife.com or call 1-888-253-3139.
The government's Department of Homeland Security is buying up loads of ammo. At the same time, they're restricting civilians' rights to own and purchase firearms. Can you put two and two together? Infidel Body Armor can stop every round, including hollow points and .308 sniper rounds, is reasonably priced and fully legal. But for how long? Go to InfidelBodyArmor.com, spelled I-N-F-I-D-E-L, bodyarmor.com. Infidel Body Armor. Just won't quit.
In the near future.
When you realize how fake it all is, the football, the basketball.
Alert. Security alert. This is Homeland Security. Analysis. InfoWars building independent media operation.
We let the worst people get control and tell us that we are the ones responsible.
Prime directive. Discredit Alex Jones.
Jones is the wildly popular conspiracy theorist.
A popular conspiracy theory talk show called InfoWars.
Alex Jones is now in an Austin jail.
These people are assaulting us.
Targeting of patriots engaged.
They are never going to stop. They're never going to deviate from their program until we stop them.
Block free iPhone app at Infowars.com. Block free podcast and video feed. Imperative. Destroy Prison Planet TV.
You gotta set your eye on the enemy, not worry about what propaganda they put out. Intellectually, it's begun. You can feel it.
You're listening to The Alex Jones Show.
In this present crisis, government is not the solution to our problem. Government is the problem. From time to time, we've been tempted to believe that society has become too complex to be managed by self-rule, that government by an elite group is superior to government for, by, and of the people.
The Alex Jones Show, because there is a war on for your mind.
Hello, me. Meet the real me and my Misfits way of life.
Welcome back to the Alex Jones Show on this Sunday, February 8th, 2015. I'm David Knight. I'll be your host today. In the next hour, we'll be joined with Paul Joseph Watson from the UK. In the last segment, we're going back and looking at the 1976 swine flu epidemic. And the epidemic was really a vaccine epidemic. It wasn't an epidemic of the flu. It was the result of the vaccines that were pushed on the American public by the CDC and the pharmaceutical companies. 46 million people got vaccinated then. 4,000 sued the government for permanent injury and death. $3.5 billion at that time, over $15 billion in today's money. Now, we ran out of time in the last segment. I want to pick that back up where Mike Wallace, 60 Minutes, was talking to who was then the head of the CDC, David Sensor. And he's asking him about what information they had that was so vital for the American public to get mass inoculated. Here's what they had to say.
Dr. David Sencer, then head of the CDC, the Center for Disease Control in Atlanta, is now in private industry. He devised the swine flu program, and he pushed it.
You began to give flu shots to the American people in October of '76.
October 1st.
By that time, how many cases of swine flu around the world had been reported?
There had been several reported, but none confirmed.
Hold it right there. Hold it right there. How many have been reported? Now, this guy, this is a classic 60 Minutes investigation where you got the sweating, corrupt official behind the desk, prevaricating around the, like we've seen with James Clapper, like we've seen with Michael Hayden. Why is it these guys all look like Karl Rove? I mean, it's just amazing. But he basically said, no, there weren't any confirmed cases. He wouldn't even give a number about how many reported cases there were. Nevertheless, they start this massive PR campaign to pressure the public. And that's what we're seeing with the vaccines for the measles now. And we're going to see it with other diseases. We're going to have a medical tyranny where they no longer want your consent. But back in the day, 40 years ago, they thought they needed your consent. And so here's what they did. Let's run the rest of that clip. Guys,
flu around the world had been reported.
There had been several reported, but none confirmed.
Now, nearly everyone was to receive the shot in a public health facility where a doctor might not be present. Therefore, it was up to the CDC to come up with some kind of official consent form.
Oh, they wanted
giving the
consent.
public all the information it needed about the swine flu shot.
They don't care about getting your consent anymore.
This form stated that the swine flu vaccine had been tested. What it didn't say was that after those tests were completed, the scientists developed another vaccine. And that was the one given to most of the 46 million who took the shot.
Okay, and we're going to find out a little bit more about that vaccine. But do you understand what they're doing? First of all, 40 years ago, they thought it was important to have your consent. Today, they don't want your consent. They're demonizing and scapegoating people who have done their research, who have questions about the content of these vaccines. But back then, they wanted your consent. What did they do? They lied to people to get their consent. When I first came here to InfoWars, there was an investigation that had just started in North Carolina about how the EPA had lied to people to get their consent to be hooked up essentially to, I mean, not essentially, but literally hooked up to a diesel exhaust fumes to test to see whether or not fine particulate matter was going to make a difference to them. They purposely screened people who had respiratory and heart issues. They lied to them about the possible effects. At the same time, or just prior to that, the EPA's director, Lisa Jackson, had gone before Congress and said, at the levels that we're talking about of fine particulate matter, we're not talking about making people sick. We're talking about killing them. And the number of people who are dying from fine particulate matter is greater than the number of people who are dying from cancer. Now, that was a lie. But the EPA, in order to extend their jurisdiction, created this experiment, and they duplicated it again in California using children in that particular case, we've now found out. But they did this experiment purposely searching for people who would be adversely affected by this and expose them to levels that the EPA had already said would be fatal. They exposed them to levels that were 70 times greater than that fatal level. These are the kind of people that we're told we're supposed to just trust whatever they tell us. We're supposed to listen to them because they're the scientists. And the people who oppose this, as we see in this editorial from the LA Times saying, let's get rid of the personal belief exemptions for vaccines at last. Anybody who says otherwise, even if they're a doctor, they're not doctors who dissent from the majority opinion. According to this guy, they are medical charlatans. So anybody that doesn't promote the conventional wisdom or the government or the pharmaceutical industry's story is a medical charlatan. No discussion of the science, just call them a medical charlatan. And what he was saying was they were surprised at how effective it was to come in and browbeat parents who had concerns about the vaccinations. They said, this suggests that for many parents, skepticism about vaccines is only lightly held. And even placing a mild obstacle in the path of waivers prompts them to get their kids immunized. And so he goes on to quote this person who has co-sponsored a bill that would repeal people's consent. They call that the personal belief repeal. No, that's repealing the fact that they have to get your consent to inject you with whatever the pharmaceutical companies want to sell the government in large volume. She says a parent's decision to ignore science and medical facts puts other children at risk, says Assemblyman Lorena Gonzalez out of San Diego. Let's go back to the 60 Minutes episode, because this is one last clip I want to play from this, where we have a CDC whistleblower who went to 60 Minutes, who told them that they knew ahead of time that not only was this not the vaccine that they had talked to people about in the consent forms, but they also knew that it had adverse effects. Here's that clip.
So you told your superiors, the men in charge of the swine flu immunization program, about the possibility of neurological disorders?
Absolutely.
What would you say if I told you that your superiors say that you never told them about the possibility of neurological complications?
That's nonsense. I can't believe that they would say that they did not know that there were neurological illnesses associated with influenza vaccination. That simply is not true. We did know that.
I've said that Dr. Hatwick has never told me of
this is
his
the director of the
feelings on
CDC.
this subject.
And he's lying.
I guess you would have to make that assumption.
Hold it right there.
And why does
Hold
this
it right
report...
there. Pause that right there. He pauses. This is a classic moment, just like James Clapper lying to Congress, lying to the American public when he was asked about Dragnet spying. He pauses, he glances around, he's sweaty. I mean, he looks very much, all these guys look alike. And he says, well, I guess you would have to draw that conclusion. He can't bring himself to say that even when it's totally contradictory, he's totally contradicting what the CDC whistleblower is saying. He can't bring himself to call the other guy a liar because he knows he's not lying. He knows that he's lying. Continue on with that clip.
This report from your own agency, dated July 1976,
Wallace has the
lists
paperwork.
Neurological complications as a possibility.
I think the consensus of the scientific community was that the evidence relating neurologic disorders to influenza immunization was such that they did not feel that this association was a real one.
You didn't feel it was necessary to tell the people that information?
No,
I
we don't
think
need
that
to inform you.
over the years we have tried to inform the American people as fully as possible.
Giving them false information about the vaccination. Now, what is the real truth? We're told today that if you get vaccinated twice, you have 99% protection against measles and all these other diseases, mumps and rubella that are in that vaccine. That's not the truth. We're going to break that down for you when we come back. It turns out that we've had outbreaks in the past that involved nobody but vaccinated patients. Patient 0 was a vaccinated patient, twice vaccinated. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
When cells become toxic, they die early and aging sets in. No one has put together a formula that focuses directly on brain health, nerve growth factors, and optimizing your cellular energy at the same time. Just one of the key compounds, BioPQQ, is backed by major clinical studies. You want the best that's out there at the lowest price anywhere? We now have the synergistic solution. Secure your DNA force today at InfoWarsLife.com or call toll-free 888-253-3139.
The average person's life is filled with unexpected challenges. Unlock the energy it takes to defeat these daily beasts with super male or super female vitality, specifically designed to assist the body in regulating proper hormone balance to create superior vitality in males and females. Supercharge and conquer your world at InfoWarsLife.com or call 1-888-253-3139.
For all of recorded history, civilizations around the world praised the health benefits of silver. At InfoWars Life, our mission is to bring you the highest quality, purest, cleanest, effective colloidal silver on the market today for the lowest price available. You don't have to be a doctor to know. The fall and winter months are the most dangerous time of year in North America when it comes to you and your family's health. InfoWarsLife.com is very excited to announce our biggest run yet of Silver Bullet Colloidal Silver, exclusively available at InfoWarsLife.com. Now, InfoWarsLife.com has taken colloidal silver to the next level using a cutting-edge technique that is free of toxic artificial additives. Now more than ever, it's important to stock up on high-quality Silver Bullet from InfoWarsLife.com. No survival chest is complete without Silver Bullet. Secure